We can see here that the lightest values are in this area and up in the sky. So I'm going to leave this area white for right now. I'm not going to tone it completely. Anything that I do in this phase is to establish just the tonal quality of the sand, the beach, and where the grasses are going to grow. So I'm paying attention to lights and darks in the initial phase. Remember, an underpainting is used for several reasons. One, for harmony, because it establishes a unifying factor between colors. It was also used as a way to establish true form so that the artist could work out all the details prior to actually painting. Maintain the value change that you're after at the same time. So like in an area like this, you don't want to make that too harsh of an edge because there's going to be lots of grasses growing out of it. So after you've established the shape, you can come back in like this with the tip of your brush and just very softly push that hard edge out. It's a wonderful way to set up your foundation. Because you can achieve a great amount of detail with these first stages. Now remember where my brush is coming down the hill. I'm going to refer to this dune like a hill. So the grasses are creeping down the hill. And of course this is our very first application, so we want it to be the lightest. My canvas has been prepared with a little bit of with gesso, a couple of coats of gesso. So I have a smooth surface to work on. You don't have to follow it verbatim. Remember, this is a painting and we're taking an idea and turning it into a painting. Another layer. I'll pull this down, you can see. And I'm just going to let this dry. Now my brush doesn't have a huge amount of paint on it, but it is enough paint where when I make the brush stroke, I'm leaving paint behind. If you find that you have too many brush strokes, it's probably because you've got too much paint and just a little bit too much extender on your brush. And I'm going to start working this into the sky area. I'm going to go back in. Now, this area is going to remain the lightest. If you take a look at the sky area, there's one patch that is quite light. And I can actually go in there and I can rub out an area that I want to keep. So with a clean piece of paper towel, see, I can remove the underpainting from that area. Soften the edges again. It's actually sandy beach I'm painting. The water sits on top of the sandy beach. But my hand is moving left to right as I apply the color. The old masters used to use, or one of their philosophies was to always maintain transparency. So even when using an opaque color, it was applied in a transparent manner so that the light could still pass through and the shadow areas that were the darkest would still be transparent, which created the great depth within a painting that they were known for. You just want to use common sense that it's growing up the bank, and some areas are darker than others. And there's little spots on the beach. No, it's not all pristine sand. There's little spots and the more you put on and the more refinement you do at this stage, the more interesting the whole composition is going to look. So I'm going to continue this, putting in the darkest areas now. And if we look at our line drawing, our black and white, we can search for all the dark areas throughout. And each time you do it, you're going to build one layer darker than the next. Like for instance, down here, that's quite dark. This would be quite a bit of shadow in this area. And you're going to build until you finish. If you find that you've lost some of your lights through the highlight section, all you need to do is remember that Traditions is an acrylic and water is a natural solvent of an acrylic. So with a clean, damp brush, you can go in and remove, just by scrubbing in the same manner, you can remove some of the dark and wipe it off on a paper towel. And that way you can reclaim some of the light values that you may have lost